Hi there, and welcome to another guide to hiking in the Swiss Alps. Pleased to see you again. You may be wondering what I'm wearing here, but there is a reason for it. You may be thinking this isn't much to do with Switzerland. I should be saying something along the lines of Bill me bong with me didgeridoo, throw me another kidgery wallaby on the Sheila with me baby, mate. Whatever that means, I don't know. I can't speak Australian. German and French to a degree, but Australian I'm afraid not. But it makes the point. The point is that if you know your way on the hiking routes and how to behave yourselves in the mountains, you're welcome in Switzerland. It doesn't matter what sort of a prat you make of yourself, the mountains are set up for you. You can see here exactly what we're looking at. There are apparently something like, if I'm right, 65,000 kilometres worth of hiking paths marked out in Switzerland. That's something like 1.9 for every kilometre squared on average. That's an awful lot of walking to do in a country which is about the same size as Holland, give or take. But you can see you need them to get around. Perhaps you think that it's a bit obvious where to go from the shot there, but then look at this one. That's what the woods are like. They're pretty too. They look nice. But you can't find your way around in the woods. You can't see what's going on. You need the path there in order to guide you. And trust me, you will need to be guided. Have a look here. They help you get around in Switzerland by putting these little coloured markers, little signs next to all the paths. So, for example, the yellow paths, you can see an example there. They're the relatively easy ones, the ones which you can get on without a load of experience, without having to have really expensive equipment. Beyond that, you've got some red and white ones. They're trickier. They're classed as expert, although you don't... well, I shouldn't say anything which will get me into trouble. I think it's more in terms of experience than training. But then there's blue. The blue paths, those are the ones for people who really are professional, who are expert, who know how to climb an ice alp, or for people who are perhaps a bit not quite right in the head, or perhaps both. Maybe that's what it takes, I don't know. But you will notice if you get to a blue path, you can't miss it, because there's a sign next to it essentially saying, if you die, it's not our fault. And they write that in German, French, Italian and English, just to make sure. But stick to the yellow and the red would be my advice. That works well for most people. And it can guide you through. And like I say, you're going to need it, because have a look at that shot on the left, the one in the woods there. There's a path in that, but can you see it? Well, you see the logs which are going along to the left-hand side, sort of leading up towards the tree in the centre. Just above those is actually where there's a path. Bit hard to see because there are a lot of dead leaves on it, but that path is not easy to find if it's not marked. In person, in the real thing, it's a bit easier to see, mainly because it's not so steep that if you walk in it, you're going to end up sliding down on your butt for about 30 seconds without stopping, unless you get a massive wedgie on a tree, which is what will happen if you walk on any of the bits which aren't a path. But you can see there that it's not easy to find, and that's why you need well-marked paths for you. But it's not just a question of marking the paths, it's also just a question of how do you behave when you're up there. And there's a sort of code you're meant to follow. I'm not quite sure who put this together, I'm not even sure if it's written down. But what you need to know is how to behave yourself, and then you're all set to go. And like I say, as far as I'm aware, nobody holds it against you, even if you're wandering around looking like a total prat like I am at the moment. What you need to remember is to greet your fellow hikers. If you're in German-speaking Switzerland, you say Grüezi wohl. If you're in French-speaking Switzerland, you say bonjour, which is easier to remember if you can speak French because it's the same as France. Don't say Grüezi wohl in Germany. They will look at you as if you missed evolution and as if you write your shopping list on chalk on the side of your cave each week. Nonetheless, that's what you say in Switzerland, to get it right. Keep your dog on the lead if you've got one. They don't have that many dogs in the Alps for some reason, but if you do have one, keep it under control. Do not throw your litter away. That is not the done thing. The Alps are amazingly clean. They're very nice there, and if you have litter, you put it in your pocket and you take it home with you. That's that. That's what you do. And what else? Yeah, if you need to go at an inconvenient moment, make sure you have some biodegradable toilet roll with you, and make sure you can't be seen when you go behind a tree or a bush or something. It's just not the dumb thing to be seen having a go at it. And then basically you just treat people with respect. And you see these nice things along the way, such as, for example, you've got an example here of a farmer selling produce to any hikers passing by at a high altitude. There are no supermarkets up there. Once you get above a certain level, I don't know, it's probably just not economic or something. But the farmers will sell their produce to you. Cheese, milk, some sort of chocolate at some point, etc. Largely though it's meat and cheese product. All very good. Not the cheapest, but hey, you know, you've got to allow for the economics of the situation. But what's nice is you never see who's selling them to you. There's just an honesty box there. They trust you to leave your money and take what you want. And that's how it goes. It's a great system. It's very nice. And the point is just that people are nice to each other. People respect each other and their space, and they enjoy it. It's a good dynamic up there. If you want to get beaten up by drunk people, go to a beach resort. Don't go up the Alps. The Alps is, I was going to say more classy, but that's just sort of snobby. No, it's more respectful, and that's the nice thing about it. And you can even see this from the landscape. You can, and some people will not believe this, but you can drink out of the streams there. Why? Because it's clean. Because people are not dropping litter. Because they're not throwing away their used crisp packets, their used contraceptives, their used whatever else they throw away down in the towns, down in the streets, down in the rubbish dumps. No, it's nice, it's clean, and you can drink the water. It's great. Don't do it next to a cow field, I would have to say. That's not the greatest idea, because then you may see an avalanche up close and personal, and it'll be one coming out of your mouth. You want to avoid that. But act with a bit of common sense, act with a bit of common decency, and you're all set for a great time in the Alps. Thanks very much, and have a great day.